Well, a little behind the eight ball this morning. I know we're starting this a little bit later. I'm currently running the Craft Island Comedy Festival here in Calgary, and it kicked off on Wednesday with the launch party. And then yesterday was the first kind of um, day where all the comics came in from all over the country. So I was
Everyone's
picking
checking
guys
into
up
their
from the
hotels.
airport
Yeah,
and
yeah.
checking them into hotels. And then, of course, dealing with texts and emails. Where are we? What should I be doing? But honestly, man, first day went really well. All the shows were great. If there's anyone listening who's in Calgary this weekend, we've got shows Friday and Saturday all over the city. Check out the Craft Island Comedy Festival website. You just write Craft Island Comedy Festival, will be the first thing that comes up. So, little plug there for what I'm doing in my extracurriculars, if you will.
Now, I mean, we might as well just get to it. Yesterday was the
Yes.
launch of your debut album, Don't Sell Yourself Short. Stay Together
Yes.
for the Cat.
Staying Together for the Cat is my debut album. It is now available on Spotify, on Apple. It has been submitted to YouTube. It was supposed to be out on YouTube Music yesterday. We emailed them. They're like, it should
Yeah.
be up soon. So day to day. So if you're a YouTube
Right.
person, give it another day or two. But again, all these streams and all of these downloads go a long way. So if you do want to check out my comedy album, very grateful to those of you who put in the time to do so. So
Hey,
feel free
very
to do
cool.
that.
Like you said, all the streams count and help the algorithm, right? So even if they don't want to listen
Exactly.
to it, just stream it and turn the volume down low while you
That's
do
right.
the dishes.
I'm
All right.
way funnier than I am knowledgeable on Blue Jays and baseball, by the way. So
I don't know if that's true. You are very funny. Great album though. I was there for the recording.
Yes, you
Very
were.
happy
Thank
for
you,
you.
sir.
How long you been doing comedy? Is it 13 years?
14 as of
14
September
years
1st. So, yeah,
Wild.
I'm in the thick of it now, buddy.
Wild. Very cool. All right.
All right, let's get
we
into
should talk
it.
baseball.
Absolutely. Hello and welcome to the Walk Off, everybody. I'm Scott Belford, joined as always by the best co-host in the biz, Adam Mack. And we got all sorts of things to talk about today. Jose Berrios, buddy, he continues to be an enigma. I don't even know what to say about him anymore. It is just one hell of a roller coaster with that man. So we will get into it. John Schneider made a very interesting comment yesterday about home field advantage and what a priority he puts on it. He'll put all the marbles in to get it. So we'll talk about what he said. Postseason tickets going on sale in Toronto. So Rogers is expecting some home games. Emmanuel Beltre is a name that Blue Jays fans should remember, or put in your little hat for later. He's going to be the Blue Jays' big international signee this January. It's the international signing rules are so weird for the international free agents. So we will talk a little bit about that, but the Blue Jays have done very well on that front in the past. I mean, Vladdy Guerrero obviously is the shining star of that list, but I mean, Gabriel Moreno's on that list. Alejandro Kirk is on that list. Top prospects in the system, like Emmanuel Beltre, is on that list. So, the Jays have done quite well. So we'll go over that. Yankees clinch a playoff spot. And we're live on YouTube. So if you're in the chat right now, we are paying attention. Feel free to drop any comments or questions, and we'll get to those. All right, buddy. Let's get into it.
Jose Berrios, 6 earned runs through the first 2 innings before getting the hook last night. Berrios being Berrios. Like, what else is there really to say? He's either on or he's not, and last night he was not.
He's not hitting his spots. So a little heads up, everybody. Chris Black at Down to Black and a producer at Sportsnet at Down to Black, if you're a baseball fan on Twitter, is an incredible account to follow. All sorts of great stats and stuff like that. But he posted yesterday, and it's funny, he started it with, obviously no one wants to hear this, but average exit velo of Jose Berrios tonight, so that was last night, is 86.2 miles per hour, which would be his fourth lowest of the season. So he's getting soft contact, but these hits are finding holes. And again, he's not hitting his spots. So he's leaving these cookies out over the outside of the plate, and guys are just knocking it into the outfield. So I guess that is a little encouraging, knowing that, he's not giving up the long ball, but he's being nickel and dime to death. It's the old death by 1,000 cuts saying. Mm-hmm. And man, it has been pretty frustrating as a Jays fan to watch. By the way, while we're talking about Chris Black, we actually have him on the show on Monday. So Feel free to tune in for that. Another really good guest there. How did you feel about it watching it? You watched the game, correct?
Yeah, I watched the game. I can't truthfully say I watched the whole game.
Well, you put your time in the beginning. That's all that counts.
I put my time in the beginning. Yeah, as we do, right? I did rewatch it on Jays in 30 this morning, which is the best way to watch any Blue Jays loss. If I'm being honest, probably the best way to watch a lot of Blue Jays wins, too. Blue Jays in 30 is a great program.
It really is. I love Blue Jays in 30. I watch it every day. I love it.
Yeah, it just was one of those, like, throw your hands up and go, well, like, you knew by the end of the second inning that the game was over. It was just like, well, how can we punt on this game so that we don't, like, totally set our bullpen on fire? Because we still have a 3 games left in this series, right? So, I mean, we ran out Griffin, Phelps, Pop, and Richards for the remaining 8 innings. I guess the good news is, because it was in Tampa Bay, we didn't have to pitch a 9th inning.
Yeah.
Is that kind of an advantage, I suppose?
Think about where they're at in a game when those are the little victories we're counting.
Yeah, I mean, Foster Griffin pitched well for the Blue Jays, low leverage stuff. But he pitched 2 innings, no earned runs. That's good.
Yeah.
Again, we're really looking with a magnifying glass to find the silver linings in last night's game. But I would say those were it.
So they're just going to keep running. Like, this is the thing with Berrios, right? Is that he either is a complete disaster or he gets a quality start. And I know that there's a lot of people who are so sick of hearing about this quality start stat. And there's a lot of people who I know, I was just on Blue Jays Twitter late last night, kind of reaming through all the tweets about what happened. And of course, it's a very negative place to be, but there was a lot of people who were like, I don't know why everyone's defending Berrios all the time, right? And I think what it is that the baseball nerds, the stats nerds, can't help but look at even what I just read out of Chris Black's tweet and be like, you'd think the luck would start to turn.
Yeah.
But again, man, you don't hit your spots, you're going to have this happen.
Yeah.
Berrios isn't a fireballer, right? He's got a good 95 mile an hour fastball, but he's not Alek Manoah where he can rear back and touch 98, touch 99, right? He's not Gosman where he's got that little bit of extra velo, which goes a long way, right? The difference between popping something into left field or fouling it back is that 2 miles an hour. So when Berrios isn't hitting his spots and he's not hitting his spots with his secondary stuff, it really makes him ineffective. And I don't know the solution. Obviously, the Jays organization doesn't know the solution, or we would already be looking at a successful Jose Berrios.
I guess it's just like an off-season assignment at this point. Like, we're a little bit late in the year to really be making too many major adjustments, right? Like, we can't tinker at this. It's like when you're making a chili, and you're putting ingredients in, and then you get to the end and you're like, all right, well, this is my chili, and you taste it and it's like way too salty.
Yeah.
You're like, well, I can add more
Other
ground beef
things.
and more beans, but all of a sudden it's like, I don't even know what this is anymore. This is not chili anymore. This is
That's a great metaphor. I was
we,
gonna
we got to dump out the
leave it to the
chili.
walk off for a good chili metaphor, comparing him to Jose Berrios. No,
Cue
but I
up
agree with
the
you, man.
clip of Kevin from The Office dumping his chili all over the floor.
Yeah, all over the
That's
floor.
Jose
Yeah.
Berrios' season right now.
Like, and this is the thing, is that and I think you nailed it on the head, right? Is that the Jays are kind of in this situation right now. There's about 14 games left in the season. They need to just hope that some of those quality starts pop up when they need it most from Jose Berrios. You can't count on him, but you don't have anyone else. You got to roll the dice.
Well,
I don't know how you feel about this.
Okay.
I do think that this does make the argument for Ross Stripling making a start in the playoffs even more pronounced. Now, I know you lean Berrios. I know both you and Mitch Bannon of Sports Illustrated. We had him, of course, on the show yesterday morning. Both of you kind of lean towards Berrios, and I like that. If you look at his career stats, obviously there's a reason why the Jays went out and spent top prospects to get him and locked him up for a 7-year deal. He's been there. He's done that. He's pitched in the playoffs. He's pitched in big games. But I don't know, man. Ross Stripling has been so consistent. Other than that one blip last game, and that's a blip in the whole season.
Yeah, and third time through the order and whatever. Like, is that something that we just do with Stripling? Like, because we're going to talk about this in a second here, but the idea of Manoah not pitching at all in the wild card series is kind of it's
crazy to me.
Factor we hadn't even really considered as being worth talking about until John Schneider's comments last night. But let's just say we are going with Ross Stripling in game 2, game 3, whichever. Is this a Blake Snell in the World Series situation where, like, even if Stripling is pitching well, he's getting pulled before it's the third time through the order? Like, if it's a 1-0 Blue Jays game, do you want to see Ross Stripling going out for the 6th inning to face the top of that Mariners order?
I think if Ross Stripling gets through 5 in a 1-0 game, I think you're probably right. I think that they pull him.
And I mean, thank you for your work. Hand the ball to Tim Meza.
The leash is always shorter in the playoffs.
Of course.
The bullpen is activated so much quicker in a tight playoff game than even a tight game that matters at the end of the season.